See this thing? This is my journal. I document my days, write down ideas. Sometimes I write down notes. Also, check out this front cover. Love this tree that's on here. The texture of this thing is just so great. Leather, super smooth. You have this nice little design around the border. It's almost like it's punched in. It's great. Also, let's say that I fill up this little journal. I can just pretty much take it out of the cover and just swap it out and put a new one in it. Speaking of documenting my days and pretty much telling my story, if you will, today it's story time. Today's February 7th, 2021. During this time of the year, it is the coldest, at least in my opinion, it is the coldest time of the season. And it's crazy because we pretty much get all of our snow in February. It's like as if Mother Nature decided to just wait and accumulate all the snow throughout the entire winter months and then just drop it all in February here in Pennsylvania. Now, being that it is the coldest time of the year, at least around here, everyone stays bundled, they stay warm. You don't really see many people outside because it's just so miserable and cold, you know, unless you don't really mind the cold. But it is the coldest time of the year. And last weekend I wanted to go out and take some photos of some mountains, maybe go hiking, backpacking, and if it wasn't too cold, maybe do some winter camping. So I went on the hunt, tried to find some good trails so then that way it wouldn't be so hard for me to make my way up the mountain. Check the weather, check the forecast. Turns out that the temperatures were only going to be like 10, 15 degrees, which I really don't mind. Because you know, when you're hiking, you have a backpack on you, you have stuff in your pack, you're weighed down. You start to get pretty warm because, you know, you're just constantly moving, you're hiking up a mountain. And since it was only going to be 10 or 15 degrees, I said, let's do this. Well, made it to Becker's Hollow and it's been about a 3-hour drive. It is 9 a.m. and from what I understand, it is 5 degrees Fahrenheit outside. From my understanding, the top of this mountain is 4,045 feet. This is going to be quite interesting. I was supposed to have these things called crampons last night come in the mail, and well, orders I guess are backed up. And what sucks is that it was actually delivered to the facility that's like 45 minutes away from my house. So I'm hiking up this mountain with no crampons. And what crampons are these ice cleats, if you will, that help you gain traction when hiking in the snow and in ice. So just gonna be careful, take it nice and easy, just enjoy the day. I'm not by myself though. My friend Zach here, testing out his new pack. What's crazy is mountains that are actually 2.5 hours away from here, north, the temperature is about -25 below 0 Fahrenheit, and with wind chills that are as cold as -65. Really glad that it's not even that cold down here. It is so hard filming while hiking up this. Got a trekking pole in my hand. Snow's like, I think it's like 2 inches, 3 inches deep, but it's really, really packed. Hill's starting to get kind of steep. So I'm actually going to try to catch up with Zach. So I'm gonna get starting to move, make my way up the mountain. think we're about halfway up the mountain here. Been hiking for about an hour and a half now. It's only supposed to be about 2 miles to the top, so shouldn't be too bad. Not cold though, not at all. You know, I've been hiking almost my whole life, pretty much my whole life, and I've never ever bought these things that are called trekking poles, basically walking sticks. But let me tell you, it is such a game changer. Made it to the top of this hill. It's kind of flat now, but seems like it goes up a little bit farther. We're actually gonna take a break right here since it's like halfway point, 3/4 way point, whatever. So how do you like your pack?
Pretty good.
This is my buddy Zach. I've been friends with him since I'm like 9 years old. Used to skateboard, ride bikes and stuff, and now we're hiking mountains. Took like a 30-second break, hiking back up the mountain now. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've ever hiked like in the winter, because I'm usually a hermit in the winter because things get cold, miserable. I love snow, it's beautiful, but it's like a double-edged sword because it's just so cold. I don't mind the cold, but not when it's like 5 degrees Fahrenheit, or, you know, you get what I'm saying, below freezing. Time to hydrate. Yo, my hydration tube is frozen. At least the nozzle's frozen. Well, since my hydration tube is frozen, decided to put it in my jacket here. Hopefully it'll kind of warm it up, melt some of the ice in there. At least it's only a 2-mile hike and we're not going like 5-6 miles. Drink a pretty good amount of water on the way up. You know, I really wanted to bring my tripod so that way I can set it up, get some B-roll and stuff of us walking, but it was making my pack just way too heavy, and I'm already carrying like 45 pounds. And right now would be pretty ideal because, I mean, the snow is like 10 inches deep. Note to self, invest in some snowshoes. I mean, we're almost at the top.
Yeah. I guess when it starts getting steep is when we're close to the side.
Yeah, all those trees up there are all covered in snow, so the temperature is definitely going to change. You ready to go?
I guess.
Right now I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, a thermal, then there's this jacket that I'm wearing, and then I'm wearing thermals underneath my jeans, super heavy socks. Not really, my toes are kind of cold. You know, it's amazing on how people, you know, get a thrill of just walking up a super steep hill just to get to the top and maybe have some lunch. Just made it to the pines, and this is incredible. There's nothing but pine trees all around here, and there's snow like caked all over them. This is incredible. Snow is so deep all around me, and this incline, like, I don't know if you can look behind me here. I just came up from there, and it is so steep. And all this snow does not help because it slows you down, because you're always either kind of slipping a little bit or, you know, from sinking in. Man, I keep having to adjust exposure here. It goes from shade to sun to no shade to, you know, made it at the top of this hill almost, and all of a sudden just got this big gust of wind. It's like standing in a freezer. I think I'm gonna check to see if my hydration hose is still frozen. Kinda. Not too much, but it helps. Wow. This is high. Look at these pines. They are so incredible. We are getting so high. Man, I just want to take a moment and just take in everything that is surrounding me right now. Like, it is cold, the wind's blowing, not too bad, but it is nothing but pine surrounding me. I'm almost at the top of a mountain. And this is just pure bliss. You know, people take so many things for granted and don't just live in the moment sometimes. This is just pure beauty. 3,500 foot elevation. This is insane. Now at this point, reaching 3,500 feet, from here to the top of the mountain, I did not film anything at all. The incline was so steep, and I thought it was steep in the beginning, but this base of the summit was just crazy. And it was hard filming on the way up, let alone being able to film from this point to the summit of the mountain. Not to mention my battery died pretty much right around at this point, so for me to be able to take off my pack in the middle of this trail that is super steep, there's ice everywhere, snow that's pretty much almost up to my kneecaps, just to put a new battery in my camera, it would have been probably a bad idea because I didn't want to get hurt, didn't want to damage my camera, didn't want to risk Zach getting hurt, so I just waited to get to the top, swapped out batteries, and just continued to film. This place looks like a straight winter wonderland. This is crazy. Look at this. There's snow caked everywhere. I'm so incredibly grateful to finally be on flat land because the hill that I had to climb up to get here was insane. Probably the worst hill that I've ever had to hike up my entire life. Plus the snow. Slept like 5 times. Thought I was gonna fly off the cliff. Glad that I didn't. But now I'm on the way to the fire tower, just following these trail markers, these signs that are at some intersections, and this should be pretty epic. This is gonna be great. Well, we made it to the fire tower, and when we got here, this thing was a gigantic ice block. All of the steps had snow and ice on them, and the risk of falling was so high because everything was just so slippery and the wind was blowing so hard. I'm thinking it was like maybe 20 miles per hour. I could be wrong, but it was really strong. And just one small move, you could have fallen off this thing and you could potentially have really hurt yourself or possibly have even died. But personally, I'm all about taking risks, so I went up in this thing. And let me tell you that the experience when I got up here, it was incredible. Like, I have never experienced anything like this before. It was amazing. This wind is absolutely insane. And I'm afraid to go any higher because the steps are full of ice and I don't want to slip and fall. But this view is absolutely breathtaking. But when we got here, it was so cold. Like, I'm talking so cold that me and Zach decided to open up a Red Bull, and within a matter of minutes, that thing turned into a Red Bull slushie. I'm not even joking. And from what I heard from other hikers, it was negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit up there with wind chill, and that is cold. From my understanding, I probably didn't even have the proper gloves or footwear for this, and I could have probably have really easily gotten frostbite, which would have not been a good time. But other than it being really cold, there was actually a bunch of people up there, and many of them, if not all of them, didn't really want to be on camera, so I just respected their wishes and didn't really film. So I went up in the fire tower, snagged some photos, came back down, and then there was a guy that actually told us that the trail that we took was was the hard way to get up the mountain. And there was another trail that we could have taken that was an extra mile longer. He told us about this trail and we took it. Someone told us about this easier way down, which I had no idea that existed, because we could have came up this way. So since we found out about this trail, we decided to take this one. It's so much easier compared to what we just did. So I'm heading down to this overlook that this guy told me to go down to. I'm gonna check it out. He said it was off the path and it would say lean-to on this one sign. So yeah, let's do this. He said I'd come to like this little rock maze. Oh, here it is. Don't think I'm gonna film this because it looks pretty slippery. Catch you guys at the bottom. This is the lean-to. Wow. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing. And people ask, why do you hike up hills and destroy your legs? This is why. Time to get back on the trail. Gonna be heading down to this main road. In through the little tunnel here. A spring. I'm drinking some water. Stay hydrated, folks. It feels good to finally be able to drink some water. Good thing I saved a Red Bull can. But I am quite happy and very thankful and grateful for this fellow backpacker that told us about this trail. If you watch this video, man, thank you so much, because my biggest worry was getting off the mountain by sundown, which the sun is right above the horizon right now. And the reason behind that is because the temperature is supposed to drop all the way down to -10. Just the temperature, not including wind chill. And with those temperatures, I didn't want to risk anything like hypothermia, frostbite. Plus, if it were to get dark, I didn't want to risk getting lost, because then that would end up in a disaster. So here's where I pretty much stopped filming, because, and at this point we made our way down the mountain and the sun was going down really quick, so we had to hightail it out of there before the temperatures decided to drop tremendously. Also didn't want to get lost, and we just wanted to get back to the car. But we made it down the mountain, we got to the car, and we drove 3.5 hours home. So here's the story of me and Zach making our way to the Hunter Mountain Fire Tower while hiking in below freezing temperatures, potentially risking getting lost, getting hurt, or even possibly even damaging my camera or whatever I brought along with me. But it was a great experience. But that's it for me today, folks. I hope that you liked this little story, and of course, remember to get out there and just explore. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.